Imagine you are handed a forensic case with 4 piles of white powder. To the naked eye, they are perfectly identical. One could be harmless baking soda, another might be crushed chalk, and a third could be a dangerous poison. Our first instinct is to put them under a standard optical microscope, but there is a physical limit to what that tool can do. Standard microscopes rely on visible light, and visible light waves are relatively large. When you try to look at something as tiny as a chemical structure, those large light waves completely wash over the details. Under regular light, these chemically distinct powders just look like identically blurry white rocks. To solve this case and identify exactly what is sitting on the table, we have to swap out visible light for a completely different kind of illumination. We need a toolkit powered by X-rays and high-energy electrons. Our first forensic tool is the Scanning Electron Microscope, or SEM. Instead of shining a light bulb, this machine fires a concentrated beam of electrons down at our mystery sample. Think of it like throwing a handful of bouncy balls at a bumpy wall in pitch darkness. You can't see the wall, but by tracking exactly how those balls bounce back to you, you can mentally map out the shape of the surface. The angle of the surface determines how many electrons bounce back to the detector. Flat areas might reflect a lot of electrons and look bright, while steep valleys reflect fewer and appear dark. This creates a deeply detailed 3-dimensional topographic map. Look at these 2 photos. On the left is the physical limit of an optical microscope, a glowing, blurry shape. On the right is that exact same object viewed with a scanning electron microscope. We can see every single spine and crater in sharp relief. The SEM gives us a pristine map of the powder's physical landscape. We know exactly what the outside looks like. But surface shapes alone don't tell us what chemical compounds are hidden inside. To see what is going on underneath that outer crust, a detective has to look entirely through the solid object. For that, we use the Transmission Electron Microscope, or TEM. Instead of bouncing electrons off the surface, the TEM generates massive voltage to shoot a beam entirely through an ultra-thin slice of our mystery powder. Driving an electron beam completely through solid matter requires immense power. The machinery required to generate this voltage and precisely focus the beam takes up an entire room, with the microscope column towering over the operator. This gives us a clear look at the internal scaffolding of the material. We have the outside surface and the inside structure. But to finish the investigation, we need to know the exact atomic chemistry. Our final tool is X-ray diffraction, or XRD. This is how we extract the exact chemical identity of our powder. Remember how visible light waves were too large to see atomic details? X-rays have incredibly short wavelengths. They are small enough to slip cleanly into the microscopic gaps between the organized layers of atoms in a crystal. This diagram shows exactly how X-rays interact with atoms. When the incoming X-ray beam hits these stacked atomic planes, the waves scatter. As they bounce off different layers, they interfere with each other at specific, measurable angles. Notice the angle marked with the red symbol. The distance between atoms dictates the exact angle where these X-rays reflect perfectly in sync. Because every chemical compound has a unique atomic spacing, this pattern of angles acts as a literal barcode, a unique fingerprint for every mineral on Earth. To capture this barcode, the powder sits in the center of an instrument called a diffractometer. Mechanical arms slowly rotate around the sample, firing X-rays and measuring every single bouncing angle. Once the machine finishes spinning, scientists take the resulting list of angles and run it against a global database. This library contains the unique signatures of over 100,000 different crystalline structures, allowing them to match the unknown pattern to a known substance. By reading the mathematical patterns hidden inside the crystals, XRD gives us a definitive answer. The mystery powder is instantly identified by its atomic makeup. When scientists combine these 3 perspectives, the surface map, the internal structure, and the atomic barcode, they gain a complete picture of what a substance is and how it behaves. Outside the lab, these tools are workhorses for major industries. They reverse engineer damaged solar cells, inspect the structural integrity of batteries, and verify medical device safety. These 4 line graphs are chemical readouts. The sharp spikes act as elemental signatures, identifying chemicals present in the sample's top 10 nanometers. This cross-section highlights scientists targeting those uppermost atomic layers, causing electrons to jump out to help engineers design more effective materials. There is an incredible hidden universe of microscopic mountains, internal scaffolding, and atomic data that is completely surrounding us. We only have to change our light to see it.